Hey everybody, happy Monday. I hope that you are all doing well. It's Monday. So today's going to be a little bit different. This morning I had my son's IEP. So for those of you who don't know, my youngest is on the spectrum, and so he had his individual education plan because he's going to high school next year. Oh my God, this is enough to make me have a massive panic attack. But about 2 minutes before I went into that IEP meeting, I got a message that our guest for today was not going to be able to join us. And those kind of things happen. But immediately I went into panic mode. And then I had to go right into the IEP, which is also incredibly panic mode. And then I just got out of the IEP about 5 minutes ago, and now I have to show up here, and I am in full-on panic mode. Like, my fingers are tingling, my nose and my lips are feeling kind of numb. I am on the verge of having a massive panic attack. And there are several times in my life where feeling like this, I would have canceled whatever it was that I had to do because I wouldn't have had the mental fortitude to do it had I not been working the 4 steps in the photo artist journey. So I'm here, and we are going to talk about the steps in the journey. And you know what? The whole reason I wanted to create this 14-day photo artist journey for you guys was to build a community where we could grow together and we could honestly talk about these kind of things instead of showing up all the time perfect. This is not a performance. This is me having a conversation with a bunch of friends and us all growing and learning together. And I apologize, guys. I'm gonna be getting text messages through this from my team. So pardon me if I look away for a second. So everybody is constantly working to show up perfectly, and it's not authentic, and it's not real, and it's not truly growth doing that. And so I decided, despite the fact that our guest couldn't make it, and that threw me into a spiral, and I had to go into an IEP meeting that is super anxiety inducing, and that threw me into another spiral. And then I had to show up here with you guys without my guest, and I'm scared to death right now. I'm here, and I am showing up authentically and real. And so what I thought we could do today is, if you haven't downloaded the book yet, you should, The Photo Artist Journey. There's a lot of prompts in there that are really good that we're going to go through. And we're going to do some of that together today. But before I do that, I am so not prepared for this, guys. And I apologize. But this is me showing up as the best that I can today. And that's going to be good enough. I want to talk about the amazing people who are sponsoring us. So remember, can we drop the download to sign up for the Photo Artist Journey, please? Everybody who actually signs up for it is going to get a 20 by 30 canvas wrap from ProPrints. Again, from the bottom of my heart, ProPrints, thank you guys for supporting artists. It's amazing that you're doing this. And somebody who is on the call here with me today, and you're going to have to do some work for this one. If I'm here working and showing up like this, you're going to have to do a little bit of work to earn this one today. Someone who participates in answering some of these questions with me is going to get a 32 by 46 print from ProPrints, which is amazing. We also have amazing brand supporters who support artists, which is what we want, right? Who have codes for you and who are going to have some prizes for you at the end of the journey. And that is Stella Pro, AIBP, Boo DIY, Backdrops by Jeremy Ellsworth, Tailored Body Jewelry, Smarketing, and Homespun Heart. And you guys will get an email with all of that information today after the call. And if you are watching this call and you're not here live, and you have any questions for me, feel free to put them in the thread where this is, and I will, and at me, and I will come back and I will answer those questions for you guys. Okay, let me see. Is there anything else I need to go over? No, we're not going over any of that other stuff today. We're just gonna talk at this point because that's what I can do right now. That's all I can do with you guys right now. So again, in the past, in this kind of situation, I probably would have canceled today's meeting and not shown up because I want to show up like, as well as I can. But because I've been working the steps that are part of the photo artist journey, I have the mental fortitude to take a deep breath, take a sip of my tea, and get into it. So I literally have had to work a couple of times this morning, all 3 steps in several different situations. I've had to be incredibly vulnerable. I've had to be self-aware and take stock of things that were perceived obstacles or real obstacles. And then I had to be brave and figure out how to overcome them. These are relating to personal areas of my life, but they're also now relating to my professional life and myself as a photographer and an artist, because that's what I'm here talking to you guys about, right? So the creation of this 14-day artist journey was to help you guys get to places where you can show up as authentically and confidently and comfortably as possible and start discovering things about yourself in a safe environment where other people are doing the same thing. And we obviously have the interviews because I wanted to humanize this journey for you guys. And today we don't have anyone to interview, so we're using me to humanize this for you guys. And, before my mom passed away, I had a lot of mental fortitude because I had her as support and I leaned on her quite a bit. And I had a lot of power through it kind of mentality. And that worked for me. I don't know if it was very healthy, but it worked for me at the time. And then after she passed away, I still kind of had the muscle memory of just getting through things. But over time, that started waning. And I wasn't working the steps in this journey. I wasn't showing up for myself daily and being aware of where I was and just radically accepting it and understanding what I needed, where I needed to grow, where I was strong, commending myself for all of those things. I wasn't doing that. I was not being vulnerable. I shut down. I shut down to a point where I quit educating and I nearly lost my studio because things were in such disarray with client support and services, and just couldn't do the things that I needed to do, but I was not facing it. I just tried to kind of keep going and kind of shut down. And oh my God, you guys, I have made so many mistakes, so many mistakes. And for the longest time, I actually wasn't learning from them because I wasn't being aware. I was just kind of like an ostrich. I was putting my head in the sand as much as I possibly could. And I was not growing. I was actually regressing. And it did not help me as an artist. And it certainly did not help me in my personal life. And then slowly, and when I say slowly, I mean slowly, because on Mother's Day this year, it will be 8 days since it feels like 8 days, 8 years since my mother passed away. It took me years. I think it hit me a lot harder. I don't know if it hit me harder. I just didn't deal with it perhaps as well as other people do. I was a mess for such a long time, and there was so much regression in my life and so much unhappiness and despair. And had I been a little bit more self-aware and been a little bit more vulnerable and opened up a little bit more and been a little bit more brave, perhaps I would have gotten through it a little easier, but I wasn't. And so made all kinds of mistakes. I stopped showing up for myself. I stopped showing up for other people. It was not a good time in my life. And then I started working on being more aware, recognizing the things that were a problem and taking radical acceptance. Interesting thing, during Eli's IEP today, his speech therapist actually talked about self-disclosure with Eli, one of the things that he could start doing. And I think this is something that we can all do. Taking radical responsibility for the things that perhaps we're not so good at or we need to improve in, and owning it. And when you do that, you take so much of the power away from it. You take the shame out of it. So let's relate it back to work really quick. This is the one I use all the time. I suck at light. I'm really good with natural light. I am horrible with artificial light. Not going to be ashamed of it. Self-disclosure. I'm not good at it. I'm going to own that. And then I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to try in front of you guys, right? And then I'm going to be brave. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to have a YouTube video on it, all kinds of videos, me learning how to master lighting. And it's going to be a nightmare because I'm going to suck at it, but it's okay because eventually I will get better at it and I will get to a place where I want to be. So I'm curious. I want to know self-disclosure in here. You guys in the comments, I need this today. I need you guys today. In the comments, if you guys can tell me one thing about yourself, one self-disclosure, like just stop for a second, be self-reflective, take a look, and think of one thing that you can say, one area where you need to improve that you kind of feel badly about, and be brave. Go ahead and put it in the comments and let's take the power away from that. So I'm going to be watching the comments here. I want to see what you guys have to say. You know, another one of mine, as I'm waiting for you guys to put comments in there, another one of mine is time management. Horrible. I get derailed and sidetracked and end up not completing projects, and it is such a detriment to me. It's not even funny. And it's something that I'm actually ashamed of because it affects other people that I work with. And I feel badly about it. I think this is the first time I've said this out loud. Huh. Okay. It affects my clients. It affects my students. It affects my team. It affects my family. And it's a place where I feel shameful. But I'm just going to be self-aware right now and realize that time management is not something I'm great at. Actually, it's something I'm not good at. But it's something that I'm going to openly share and work on myself. So, okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Client communicate. Okay, here we go. Okay. So Erica needs to learn lighting. I have a Facebook user. I can't tell who you are, but you overcomplicate things. Oh my God, me too. Perfection paralysis. Good Lord. Client communication. Megan, I get it. You're not alone. Oh, it's so good to take the power away from it though, right? For me, it's being a better communicator. I get that. I need to be more intentional with my lighting and such instead of just winging it. Oh, I feel that one. Expecting to work like a machine and not human with ebbs and flows of energy. Oh, man. Yeah. Marketing. I hate talking about myself and my abilities. I get that. Jennifer Lee, trusting yourself. That's a hard one for me too. Oh, but saying it kind of takes the power out of it though, right? This is actually feeling kind of good now. Erica, self-judgment, judging my performance in many areas. Yeah, if we're not doing that with kindness, it is very, very damaging. But to be able to say it out loud is good. Katie Stern, I'm a little shy to push people into these emotions, and I'm failing to connect and get people comfortable before the session. Wow, that's a big one to say. Katie, did it make you feel better to say it? Because it's definitely something we know that we can work on. We can. Melissa, I'm bad at finances, tracking business stuff and taxes. Me too. Me too. Terrible at it. Then let's see. See. My ADHD causes me to really space out and totally forget poses, etc. during sessions. Whoever that Facebook user is, you need to start using categorical posing. You really need to start using that. It will help you immensely. At me in the comments and I'll talk to you about it. Another Facebook user says, I'm really great at starting projects, but I have a hard time closing that circle. I get that. Kelly Angela Riken says, I chicken out on things. I don't show up as brave, and I let my insecurities affect performance in shoots and the way I deal with community. I understand. Oh, Denise, I feel that so much. Thank you. Time management. Okay. Participating for myself. Marketing is a struggle for me. Imposter syndrome. I feel like my images tend to be flat, and I want to do better with my constant lighting to be more dynamic and with it and learn strobes. You're bright. Me too. I need so much practice with that. Setting boundaries is not a strength either. Work versus family. I get it. Lose time daily. My back-end organization is horrible. It makes working with clients much more difficult. It takes me longer. Yep, I get that too. You guys, let's look at you guys being so brave. Okay. Okay, well, it sounds like you guys are wanting to hear more about categorical posing too, so we'll talk about that as well. I wish I had one of you on here with me. I wish I had one of you to actually be talking with. So now that you've written these things down, I'm curious, how do you feel about it? Like, does it feel good to publicly just say it? Like, okay, so self-disclosure. Here is something that I recognize. I've been self-reflective enough to recognize that this is an area where I need to grow. Does it feel good to actually be able to say that out loud and kind of take some of the shame away from it? Because that's the first part of the process. And maybe you need to say it a lot. This is an area where I really need to grow. But when we say that, instead of beating ourselves up for it, doing it with kindness and compassion and being, well, Denise isn't perfect, right? Nobody I know is perfect. There's no such thing as someone who is perfect. We're all striving to be the very best that we can be if we're on a growth journey, right? So the goal is to be striving to be the best that you can be, but it's the journey, it's not the destination. And there is no such thing as perfect. And so with that self-disclosure, being kind and compassionate with yourself is imperative. If I wouldn't have had that kindness and that compassion with myself today, I wouldn't have been able to show up here and be on this call right now, and someone wouldn't be getting the 24/36 print today. And we wouldn't be having this conversation, this real, honest conversation about where we struggle as being artists and how we show up and how we interact with our clients and our businesses and the things that we need to work on and do better. It doesn't make us bad people, right? I've said this before and I'm going to say it 5 million times. Mistake, failure, these are not nouns. They are verbs. You are not a mistake. You are not a failure. You make mistakes and you fail at things, but these are actions. They do not define who you are as a person. They're just actions, right? And they're actions that actually help us grow if we view them with compassion and kindness, if we treat ourselves with that compassion and kindness. And if we don't, then we're going to be on the struggle bus for a real long time, like I was after my mom passed away. So again, the artist journey was to bring to you a bunch of different artists that you look up to, that you admire, and humanize the process and show you we're not all perfect. We all didn't just get to this pinnacle place and out of nowhere. We struggled. We had like the same journey as everybody else to get there. And a lot of us aren't even where we want to be. There are places where we want to go further too. And so there's this perception of, oh, this photographer is just like so amazing. And they got there and they didn't have any of the struggles and they're perfect. Or there's this artist or, business person or whoever they are. And, oh, they just showed up amazingly. No, they did not. They did not. They went through the same type of journey that I am asking you guys to go on with me right now. Literally right now, as my fingers are still tingling and my nose and my mouth are numb. Oh my God. It's a daily practice, you guys. It's something we have to do daily. So let's talk about that. There are 4 phases in this artist journey, right, that we're going on. And phase number 1 is taking stock. It's being self-aware. It's looking in the mirror and really taking inventory of the things that we're good at. I want you to start there. Things that you're brilliant at. Commend yourself for being good at those things. We don't do that enough. And then finding out where our obstacles are, whether they're perceived or they're real, they're an obstacle, right? So if it's real, we work on it. And if it's perceived, we still work on it, just in a different way, right? And then phase number 2 is being vulnerable. It's admitting it. It's the self-disclosure kind of stuff. It's the saying it out loud. It's the making an agreement with yourself to embrace vulnerability. And then phase 3 is being brave and then going out there and doing the things with a little bit of discomfort, doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, doing things that you're potentially going to make mistakes in doing, but not being so afraid of them that you won't do them. It's pushing into that place where you're afraid, you're uncomfortable, but you're prepared to be brave and you're prepared to do it regardless, because you're going to learn from that mistake. That's what I'm doing today. I showed up here afraid, totally outside of my comfort zone. I'm having a panic attack as we're speaking. But if I make any mistakes today, it's okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to be kind to myself. But I knew that I needed to show up because I made a commitment to you guys to do that. And so I'm here and I'm doing it. I might not be doing it perfectly, but that's okay. I'll learn from it. So we work these 3 phases on a regular basis. And by the way, I had to do that when the guest wasn't able to make it. I had to do it several times during Eli's IEP. And then when I got off the phone, I had to do it a couple of times with coming live here. So it's not this one and done type of thing. It's kind of programming your brain to work in a way that's going to help you grow in the ways that you want to, whether that be with your marketing, whether that be with the way that you shoot, getting, more connection in your images, solving your posing problems, running a successful business, making peace with the fact that I'm going to have a part-time job or I'm going to have a full-time job and photography is going to be my passion, and not succumb to like, I have to be a 6-figure photographer in order for me to be successful at this artistic medium. That's bullshit, by the way. I call total bullshit on that one. So with that, I pulled up the Photo Artist Journey for those of you who haven't downloaded it yet or opened it. And I am going to ask you guys a couple of questions. And I want you to we're all going to do this together. There are 29 of us on here right now. All 29 of us are going to do this. Okay. We're going to be strong. We're going to answer a question from each one of the sections. Okay. So we're actually going to work part of the journal together. So the question I'm going to ask you is, do I try and hide any parts of myself from others? So I want you guys to write your answers to that questions. Do you try and hide any parts of yourselves from others? And if so, what is that part? So you can say yes, but now I want to know, pick that part of yourself that you try and hide from others. I do, as you guys are writing this, I'm going to go on. I do a lot of self-disclosure. I do a lot of that. I openly talk about the places where I struggle. But there are parts of myself that I try and hide from others as well. And sometimes even those self-disclosures are part of me trying to hide from people. It's if I say it, I'm going to take the power out of it, right? So I think there's a lot of parts of myself that I try and hide from others. I want to answer the question with you guys as well, since I'm asking you to do it. I think that part of myself that I try and hide from others is probably how severe oh my God. How severe my eating disorder is. So that's something that I try and hide from people. There's mine. I'm going to take a look at your guys's. Let's see. My inconsistency, my feelings. I limit the emotional range I'm willing to share with people. Monty, constantly, often unsuccessfully, anger, depression, and self-doubt. Isabel, sometimes I hide my opinions and preferences, what I really want. Isabel, how weird I am. I do that too. Megan, I hide my colorfulness because I feel like I can be overwhelming because of my excitement for things. I tone it down to be more refined. Oh, girl, I feel that one. Melissa Queering, I hide a lot. I don't share what I struggle with, where I'm having problems. I don't open up. I'm not vulnerable or brave to just have conversations. Another person, yes, I hide my imperfections. I have a self-imposed conception that offering this high-end service means I should be some level of amazing that is unrealistic. Oof. I still try to do it though. Then when I can't meet my own expectations, I want to just not anymore. I get it. I cry. Oh, Kelly, I cry because I'm stupid, and that's dumb. So I cry because I cry for stupid reasons. Oh, honey, yeah, that's a negative loop we're in. We need to work on that. When I self-disclose, I cry too much. I'm not sure it's a part, I'll say, my future self, since I show a lot. Maybe I hide my heart so I don't become emotionally invested often and have issues showing affection from the traumas, I'm sure. Thank you, Katie. Wow, look at you guys being so brave. This is amazing. I'm going to get in the comments after this is over, and I'm going to talk to you guys some more. You know, almost everything I've read in these comments, these things that you hide about yourself, they're probably things that are not probably, they are generally associated with like guilt and shame. And I know that people have different ideas about guilt and shame. My perspective on it is guilt is adaptive. Guilt is a place that you can learn from. I think too much shame is corrosive. When you start using shame to beat yourself up over the guilt, it becomes incredibly corrosive, and you create negative loops that lay down those neural pathways in your brain, and you get stuck on those loops and they stay there. And so unraveling those loops is incredibly important. And again, everything that you guys have written down. So now we've written it down. We've talked about it. Now we need to look at it and we need to determine, what are we going to do about this? So that's something that I want you guys to think about over the next couple of weeks as we're doing this. I don't expect you to do it right in this minute, but I want you guys to think about, what can I do in a positive way to change this, to fix this, maybe to think about this differently, to think of it in a different way, to reframe the way that I'm thinking about this. So instead of it being a negative loop that I'm, ingraining in my subconscious, we reframe the way that we think about it, and we reframe the way that we talk about it, and turn it into part of our growth journey. Okay, so now we've done a little bit of self-awareness. We've done some self-reflection, because we've also been really vulnerable. We've moved into the vulnerability part of this journey for sure, because y'all publicly wrote these things down, and I am so incredibly proud of you. This is the journey. We're going on it right now. We're absolutely going on it right now. Thank God today happened the way it did, by the way. It's uncomfortable and it's not my favorite, but I'm really glad that today happened like this. Like, this is a good thing. We're going to get something really awesome out of this. Okay, so now we are going to move into a question from the next section of this book that I created for you guys. Pardon me as I scroll. Let's talk about, give me a second. I am sorry. I'm just looking through these questions really quick. Okay, I'm going to read this to you really quick. Building emotional fortitude. Emotional fortitude is the ability to remain resilient in the face of challenging and emotionally difficult situations. Hello, Monday. It means you can regulate your emotions to maintain a positive outlook and persevere. You can identify people who have high emotional fortitude by how calm and composed they can remain, even though faced with uncertainty and stress. They can focus and keep their emotions in check. This in turn allows them to make solid decisions and take the best actions. Emotional fortitude also allows people to bounce back from setbacks, failures, and disappointments. They're able to learn from their experiences, adapt to changes, and keep moving forward despite obstacles. To build emotional fortitude, there are 3 actionable items to practice. Identify untruths and replace them with truths. Using positive mantras, and drawing on past experiences where you've been brave and you're proud of yourself for something that you've done. So I think what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to write down in the comments for me. I want you to write, because I don't want to just get you out there and get you being vulnerable, which is awesome. I'm super glad that you guys did that. Thank you, because this is part of the journey we're going on. And hopefully we're just going to keep going on it as a community, like forever. It doesn't end at the 14 days. But I also want to work on a little bit of that. And you were vulnerable, so we did that. So let's work on the fortitude part of it, the mental fortitude. I want you to think about a time, perhaps related to the thing that you wrote down, that, the part of yourself that you try and hide from people. And if not, that's okay. It can be something else. I want you to think about a time where you either had a win around that particular struggle, or a win around any struggle. And I want you to write it in the comments. And I want you to write it like you are a badass, okay? Like, because you are. You absolutely are. I can't believe that you guys jumped in here and did this with me. I'm super proud of every single one of you. So get in those comments right now. And I want you guys to write down a time where you won in the face of something incredibly challenging, or sort of challenging, or around what you self-disclosed. I'm going to try and think of one myself. Let's see. These should be easy because we have these wins all the time. But guess what? When you have too many negative self loops in there, It's easier to recall the negative self loops than it is to recall the positive ones. So, a win. And I'm going to try and make it around work and art as opposed to personal. Let's see. I was asked to shoot the cover and the inside editorial of Today's Bride. And all of the other, there were 4 photographers who were doing it because it's quarterly. And 3 of those photographers were given stylists, budget for backdrop, sets, the whole thing. I was not. I just had to shoot it and put the concept together myself and do all of the styling and all of the stuff, right? And then one of the photographers dropped out, and there were only 3 of us. And so we were told someone was going to get 2 covers and 2 editorials. So shoot for 2 covers and 2 editorials, and whoever came up with, the second, the best editorial and cover would get 2 covers and editorial for that particular year. And even though I did not have the support from stylists, set designers, and or a budget, my second one won. And I got 2 covers and 2 inside editorials, and it was awesome. I did it on my own without all of the additional support. And I'm incredibly proud of myself for that achievement. I started with kind of like a negative loop, like, well, how come I don't get these things and other people do? Like, oh, it's probably because like I'm not a good enough photographer. They don't think I'm good enough to invest the money in, and all the negative stuff. And then I was like, forget that. I'm just going to go ahead and do my best, and I'm going to knock this out of the park. And I did. And I got the 2 covers, and I got the inside editorials, and it was awesome. And I'm very proud of myself for that. It was a challenge, and it was scary. And I had to step outside of my comfort zone to do it, but I did it, and it was awesome. Okay. So let's see. Facebook user. I took life by the balls after my husband left, my kids and I. Yeah, get it. Kelly says, showing up to this every day and being in the comments is a win for me. It's hard for me to face the public. I also do a photo shoot of myself at a public place in my tiny town recently. That was a hard day for me, but I love the results. Good for you. That's awesome. Megan says, a win just for pulling myself out of a creative rut. Yeah. I've been making monthly lists to have personal creative shoots just for me. I love that. It's amazing. That's a wonderful win. Okay. Kristen Duncan, I haven't quit or given up. In the past, I would have already given up on my business, facing the challenges on a daily basis, but have chose to pull up my bootstraps and keep going. Good. And I'm so glad that you're here, Kristen. It's awesome. Sorry, Facebook user, don't know your name. I recently started a local business networking group in the area that I moved to. That's awesome. It's growing rapidly. I was interviewed on a local radio station about the group. I was terrified and did it anyways. Yes, that's the kind of stuff that builds some mental fortitude. That's awesome. I gave myself permission to let out all of the emotions I had bottled up, and I let myself aggressively cry after telling my pups they were the only reason I stuck around in this fucked up world. I'm sorry. I was able to ground myself after and take super vulnerable photos that I then shared because feeling anxious and depressed with everything going on is okay. It is. Being able to healthily cope with a negative spiral was a huge win for me since I am by myself here now. Super proud of you. And you know what? You're not by yourself. We're all here with you. We are all here with you. Melissa Queering, I keep plugging forward even though things are hard. Yep, that's what we do. And you should be proud of yourself for that. That is fortitude. That is resilience. I found out I'm being laid off work last week from my job. Instead of letting myself stay on a depressed and massively stressed highway, I'm going to bet on myself and jump into working on my flaws to succeed as me for me. Good for you. That's amazing. Let's see, we have, since being part of Stripped Down, I've embraced my weird and not been as afraid to show it. I've always held back in this area my entire life. This is probably the most open I've been with my creativity in my entire life and career. I'm pushing myself more and more on this every day. I know it's a journey for sure. That makes my heart happy. That's a big win. Let's see. Showing up every day is such an underrated win. Applause just for never giving up on life. Yep, it is good. Let's see. I can now own without hesitation that I am great at my job. That's beautiful. I love that. I haven't given up on my business, even with my chronic addiction conditions flaring more frequently and severely. I will persevere. Good for you, Heather. That's awesome. Hey, Nancy. Last Friday, a win for me was to be able to confidently speak about my services and prices for a conference that has decided to hire me. They fully support my vision, my pricing, and see me as a sponsor to the conference. Awesome. This was an unexpected and magnificent turn. That's amazing. And you guys hold on to these things. Hold on to these wins. When the negative self loops start happening, the things that you've written to me, the things that you've written to each other and in the comments today to this community, hang on to these wins to like enforce that mental fortitude. After a mental and physical breakdown, I completed and graduated with a makeup artist certificate while being bedbound. That's amazing. Hang on to that one. It's awesome. Monty, I've become one of my favorite athletes. I've become one of my favorite athletes photographer, including her first photo shoot after quitting public appearances for years. Recently, we created a series specifically for her project to drive more attention to missing Native women issues here in Canada, and would be happy to share. That's awesome. Good for you. Isabel win the koi selfies. I did. Yeah, that's a big win. Those are difficult for me to take out and look at, but I did it and I love them. Hang on to that. It's good for your fortitude. You guys have really knocked it out of the park. This is really good. Last year, I faced a big part of my past that I'm still in navigation, allowing myself to feel the reality, raising my daughter without her biological father, and navigating this world along with raising her to be strong and confident while silently struggling with those and still showing up daily in her and my clients' lives. Going to work daily is my win right now. That's a big one to hang on to. Sonia says, I told my mom over a telephone conversation that my ideas, beliefs around God were changing, which was terrifying, but I did it. Seems we need a repeat conversation now, though, as she's been ostracating over this ever since. And now as I am about to become a parent, we need to have this conversation again. Sorry, Sonia. As I'm now thinking of the messages my child will receive in their little fresh mind and heart, and the ones I don't want them to receive, at least not before they're able to work. I can't get the rest of that. Well, that is a big win. Standing up to that is huge. Hold on to that for fortitude. Miss Katie Stern, I started going to book club at the dance studio I go to. That's amazing. I got my first book since high school and started reading it. I was scared to go to these book clubs because I felt I wouldn't belong, but they're really welcoming and the books have a lot of good information. That's awesome. You guys are doing great. Okay, you guys did amazing. So what I want you all to do is go to thephotoartistjourney.com, register for it, please. Download this book and start working through it, okay? I think someone started writing a novel. That's a huge win. That's great. I think today's big takeaway is we all struggle, right? But are we going to choose to shut down in the face of that struggle? Or are we going to choose to keep working through these steps and building self-awareness, leaning into vulnerability, right? Being brave and going out there and doing things that make you uncomfortable in order to further your growth and further your journey. And then creating the vision that you want for your life, for your business, and for your art. If we're not working these steps, we can't get there. Shutdown happens, ostriching happens, sticking our head in the sand happens. All of these things happen. I believe in every single one of you, and I am here for you with this journey. And I am also grateful, so incredibly grateful to have this community that I can share my journey with too, because by no stretch of the imagination am I where I want to be in terms of the way that I want to serve and the things that I want to put in the world. Am I happy with where I am? I am. Do I want to do more? Absolutely. And without this community, I don't know that, well, I would do it. But having this community makes it a lot nicer doing it, and it makes it easier too. So I want to thank every single one of you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this community and being part of this 14-day journey. But moreover, just being part of this journey, period. It's really exciting to see so many people interested in growth and coming together and supporting each other. So I want to thank you guys. I know that we're a little short on time today, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap with that. But before I do that, I am going to announce who our winner is today. Give me 1 second. So today, Pro Prince is going to be giving a 36 by, I forget. Sorry, guys. I threw my papers behind me too when I was just like, I can't handle this when I was having my little meltdown. But Kellyanne Rikens, you are the winner of the Pro Prince canvas wrap today. Congratulations. And thank you so much for being here and for sharing. Every single one of you is an absolute winner. You guys are amazing. Everything that you wrote in there, take it, hold on to that, maintain your mental fortitude. Go download this. I'm going to go through the book myself right now because I really need it. I'm still having a panic attack as we're doing this. It hasn't stopped. So I'm going to drink some more tea and I'm going to start writing myself and reminding myself of the places where I'm strong and where I can grow, and lean into all of it. Get after it, you guys. I'm telling you, it's going to make you feel so much better. And I will see you again tomorrow at 10 o'clock, not having a panic attack, hopefully. And let me check really quick who our guest is tomorrow. Give me 1 second. Let's see who I am on with tomorrow. Oh, I'm on with Maria tomorrow. That's awesome. So Maria Arellano is going to be joining us tomorrow to talk about her journey as an artist. And that's going to be awesome. And remember, if you guys have any questions, you can always at me in the comments. If you're not in the group, come on into the group. If you're seeing this on my Facebook page, go into the Art of Emotion group on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Denise Birdsong Photographer. I think it is. That's what it is. And thank you guys for all of the love too. I'm seeing lots of love in here today. And thanks. My little heart needs it. I'm going to go back and read all of these comments. I really do appreciate every single one of you. And also just shamelessly, we've got that strip down class coming up as well. It's starting in May. So if you've not taken it, if you struggle with posing and you want to solve that problem, if you struggle with stepping into your authentic self as an artist, if you really want to go on a deep dive journey that is going to change everything about the art that you create, the way that you work as a photographer, the confidence levels you have, and solving the posing problem forever and creating images that are beautiful and emotive, you should sign up for the class. It's amazing. If you have questions about it, my students, my alumni, they're always in the class. You can always put up a question. Like, someone talked to me about the Art of Emotion class, and they will hop in and they will answer your questions, and so will I. Okay, everybody, have a beautiful day today. I am going to go take some deep breaths, read all your guys' comments, do some journaling, and I'm going to get about my day, because you know what I got? resiliency and some fortitude. And I wish that for all of you as well. That's why I'm doing this. I'll see you guys later. Bye.